So the topic for today's presentation is registration of marriages under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 in India. As these acts are applicable primarily in India, right? So see, I would like to begin with why is marriage registration necessary? In first place, what is marriage? Everyone is aware of. So marriage is a private affair, but the registration of marriage is a legal aspect of that. So why is marriage registration necessary? First of all, the legality of the marriage is determined by the registration. Means even if a marriage is like solemnized as per the personal law, जो भी लेते हैं साथ फेरे and all stuff, but that is like वो एक बस social acceptance के लिए होता है. So that is like that can get your marriage recognition socially, but legally एक marriage court of law में it will be recognized when it is registered. So legality of marriage is determined by the registration under the prevailing statutory laws of the country, whichever are there, maybe alag-alag religions ke liye it is different, but a special marriage act which is common for all the religions in India. So registration is also like a means of protecting the rights of the parties in the marriage. So what does that mean? Primarily, it covers ki polygamy one cannot do if the marriage is registered, or polyandry also for that matter. Like one person can only marry one partner at a time. So without like divorcing that particular partner, it will not be possible for that person to remarry with anybody else. As in that second marriage will be illegal in that if registration of the marriage has been. So then also one more thing, कि इसमें child marriage like prevent हो सकता है if the marriage is registered. Because under 18 अगर कोई हो तो I mean if a girl is under 18 then she cannot be legally married, and if the guy is below 21 then he cannot marry anybody legally. So then in India, marriage registration certificate is very important to have, as it means legally it is very important to have, as it is official testimony which states that two people are married legally. So in India, primarily, like for Hindus particularly, I'm saying here, so the Special Marriage Act, under the Special Marriage Act 1954, although it includes Hindus, but it is, just note this, it includes everybody. That is, two people of different religion can also marry under the Special Marriage Act, as in they can get the marriage registered under the Special Marriage Act. But it is also like for two Hindus also can marry and get their marriage registered under the Special Marriage Act. Then see, in 2006, there was a judgment like in the matter of Seema versus Ashwin, which I have stated here. As per that judgment, Supreme Court had upheld it to be mandatory to register the marriages in India for all the people from any religion, etc., etc. But then it was just like, see, in India, like कैसे होता है, state के laws अलग होते हैं, center के laws अलग होते हैं. So like it was, although it was pushed by Supreme Court, but like I on ground level वो 100% अभी तक भी implement नहीं हुआ है. As different states can decide for themselves differently for their cities in India. जैसे महाराष्ट्र हो गया, गुजरात हो गया, जैसे गोवा में already Goa civil code है. So in Goa, if anybody is deciding irrespective of whatever religion or faith they practice, they have to get their marriage registered compulsory in Goa. So वैसे होता है. Then and also yeah, one more thing, कि एक compulsory registration of marriage bill 2005 में pass हुआ था. I mean that was proposed, but आज तक like it is pending, and it was proposed for preserving the rights of the parties. Hence, gaining a marriage registration certificate after the marriage can have many benefits. So primarily benefits, as I said, it prevents polyandry and polygamy. Then it prevents child marriage. Then third, it gives women rights to claim maintenance in case like there are any disputes in the marriage or whatever. Husband providing certain things. Then also marriage registration certificate is a vital document while applying for passport or for opening a bank account or like any other government schemes. आजकल बहुत सारे होते हैं तो for that purpose also. Then even for new surname, अगर किसी को surname change करना है, which mostly women do even today, like they take the surnames of their husband, so उसके लिए भी gazette in the gazette में ना किसी को अगर gazette में नाम change करना है, so it is important to have a marriage registration certificate. Then also in case for visa, spouse visa किसी को चाहिए होता है in case the other partner is staying abroad. So in that case for spouse visa, also marriage registration is mandatory because passport office obviously this visa embassies etc. they ask for the marriage certificate for the spouse visa. Then even for of course for foreign travel visa is needed. Then many embassies demand a copy of the marriage registration certificate. Hence a marriage registration certificate is important to move to abroad after marriage. Then marriage registration under the Hindu Marriage Act. See, I'm not going as per the 100% as per the sections that you can like go to the barracks and study. So I'm just explaining the process, how it is done here. So yeah, the Hindu Marriage Act in 1955 deals with all the ceremonies, etc., which are needed to be followed, which like जो legal forte नहीं है ideally. So that is वही सात फेरे लेना and all those rituals which are performed under the Hindu Marriage Act and the Hindu marriage. Those are only included under the Hindu Marriage Act for the marriage to be solemnized. Under the Section 7 of the Hindu Marriage Act. Then the provision states that a Hindu marriage can be solemnized following customary rite and ceremonies of either of the parties. At times people are from different caste, creed, communities or whatever. So थोड़ा बहुत difference होता है हर किसी के रीति रिवाजों में. So as per that. So then the Hindu Marriage Act can be solemnized under the customary rites and ceremonies of either party, where the rites and ceremonies include the Saptapadi, that is why Sat Fere, then the taking 7 steps, that is likha, then after that around a sacred fire and stuff. Then the marriage becomes complete and binding when the 7th step is taken. Then these ceremonies may vary according to customs, and the ceremonies may vary as per customs and traditions followed by parties. As we all know, India is a diverse country. Yeah. Then Section 8 of the Hindu Marriage Act lays down the elements for registration in the Hindu marriage, even though it does not make the provisions compulsory. That is, even today, it is not 100% compulsory as per the law to register the marriage for the Hindu couple, but it is like suggested. Then see the section which provides for the registration of marriage is Section 8, and under that there are 5 subsections. So the subsections are like that only, like the marriage registration officer is supposed to check the details of the parties, verification, etc., and all that formality based stuff. So that's why I have not included that over here. So yeah, like basically it is for the authority where you will go for the marriage registration. Then the registration has to take place successfully. The presence of both the parties associated, that is the husband and the wife, need to be present before the marriage registration office, like before the officer who will register the marriage. The documents required for the marriage registration, see these documents may vary from like maybe place to place depending upon where you are registering your marriage. So like 1 or 2 documents here and there. आजकल मतलब कुछ documents इन लोगों ने minus भी कर दिए इसमें से, which are like not considered very important, those documents. So ठीक है, then what all is required? Proof of address के लिए voter ID, then ration card आजकल इतना नहीं लगता है, like at few places like वो minus हो गया. Then ration card, then passport, driving license और आधार कार्ड भी इसी में आता है, although मैंने यहाँ पे different लिखा है. आधार कार्ड आता है एकदम लाइक सबसे मेन. देन प्रूफ ऑफ डेट ऑफ बर्थ, उसमें बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट या फिर स्कूल लिविंग सर्टिफिकेट या दोनों भी लगते हैं कुछ प्लेसेस. देन 2 passport size photographs are required of the bride and the groom. Then separate marriage affidavit is in a like whatever their format they have. मराठी में होता है, महाराष्ट्र में है तो mostly. Then separate marriage affidavits from the wife's side and the husband's side, उसमें यही लिखा होता है mostly, या शादी हुई थी इससे. And that has to be on the 100 rupees का stamp paper or notary से, like it has to be attested before the notary in like while presenting before the notary by the couple. Then marriage invitation card original, you have to attach that with the form, and marriage photograph होना चाहिए postcard size का. Then Aadhaar card, as I said. Then all documents must be self-attested, that is like खुद sign करो at proof of ये बोलो. And then 3 witnesses are needed. उसमें से 2 witnesses मैंने यहाँ लिखा नहीं है, but 2 witnesses should be outside the family. मतलब एक में भी like father or mother of either of the party, and other 2 witnesses need to be some guests जो भी शादी जिन्होंने attend की, who must have attended your marriage. So 3 witnesses are needed to have who have completed 18 years of age. 3 witnesses. They need to be present before the marriage registration officer on the day the marriage will be registered. तो उनके भी documents देने पड़ते हैं whenever you are like filing the application for registration of marriage under Hindu Marriage Act. Then, and they should also have valid PAN card and proof of residence, that is Aadhaar card or whatever other documents I have given above. A registration under the Special Marriage Act. Now we are coming to Special Marriage Act. See, basic difference between the Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act is like ये है कि like in Hindu Marriage Act you marry first, means as per your rituals and all. Those you perform first, and thereafter you can come for the marriage registration. And I'll tell you कि marriage registration Hindu Marriage Act में या तो तुम्हें municipal ward में होता है of like wherever you are residing. If suppose you are residing anywhere in like say Andheri etc. in Mumbai suburbs, तो अंधेरी में तुम्हारे like wherever you are residing उसका जो ward उस म्यूनिसिपल में यू कैन गो। तो वो आइदर म्यूनिसिपल ऑफिस में होता है या फिर लाइक वेयर यू रजिस्टर ऑल योर दिस प्रॉपर्टी डॉक्यूमेंट्स विद द सब रजिस्ट्रार ऑफिस, उधर भी होता है कुछ कुछ। सी द बेसिक डिफरेंस बिटवीन द हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट इज लाइक हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट you perform your marriage first as per your riti rivaj rituals etc, and then you go for the registration in the municipal ward of your area or wherever it is available near you. And in special marriage act like you marry only as per the special marriage act, तो उससे पहले कुछ मतलब आपको solemnize नहीं करना. So for what is the like marriage under special marriage act 1954, the marriage under the special marriage act 1954 enables people from two distinct religious background or ethnicities or even from two same like religious backgrounds also to unite in the marital bond. Okay, so the person's intent, so the people intending to register the marriage under this act can like this is the process. They can give, they have to go to the marriage registrar office. सब registrar का जो office होता है आपके area में, like से मुंबई में I think बांद्रा में है as per my knowledge. So they have to go to the marriage registrar and file the application. I think आजकल online भी होता है. So they have to go to the marriage registrar, file the application, details देने पड़ते हैं and with all your documents etc, and it has to be in the like place where either of the parties, either the groom or the like bride, either of the two are residing like having their permanent residence in like उस district के marriage registrar के पास जाके you have to file the application and you have to thereafter give notice in writing like, and it specifies all the details like of the marriage, like the parties etc, लड़का कौन है लड़की कौन है etc वो सब, and you have to file it with the concerned marriage officer as per section 5 of the special marriage act, like उसमें आता है ये process. Then उसका like जो copy होता है, copy of that notice is affixed on the notice board of the registration office and one copy is like also sent to the addresses of respective parties, like दोनों के घर पे भेजते थे एक notice लड़का और लड़की as per section 6 of the special marriage act. Thereafter 30 days का time दिया जाता है to see if any objections are coming like from either of the party का like family की तरफ से or anybody else from the society. This is basically to ensure कि like this is not the second marriage without divorcing the first wife by either of the party, divorcing the wife or divorcing the husband. So basically to ensure कि दोनों parties हैं उनका first marriage नहीं है कोई like pending as per the law. Then after the period of like expiration of 30 days, thereafter if there are no objections found by the like marriage registration office, then the marriage can be solemnized, although koi there are no particular marriage solemnization. Generally you just have to go like अच्छे से dress up करके and you just have to give your signatures before the marriage registrar, उनका जो भी form रहेगा उसमें they scan your photo, take your thumb का impression and that's online आजकल mostly. So like on the day of solemnization 3 witnesses are required, like जैसे हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में लगते हैं वैसे 3 witnesses are required, like और उनका भी like basic identification documents are required, जैसे कि आधार कार्ड पैन कार्ड वो सब हो गया, एंड बोथ हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ हैव टू गिव एफिडेविट, जैसे हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में भी होता है वैसे कि लाइक वी आर परफॉर्मिंग द मैरिज बाय आवर चॉइस, कोई मतलब फोर्स नहीं है, फ्रॉड नहीं है एक्सेट्रा वो सब. एंड वो एफिडेविट आई गेस स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में 150 रुपीज के स्टैम्प पेपर पे ऐसा कुछ स्टैम्प ड्यूटी 150 रुपीज का है समथिंग. सो या और हाँ एक और बात, अंडर हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट ऑल्सो एंड अंडर स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट ऑल्सो जो भी मतलब public fees होती है, it is very nominal, 300 rupees or so, that you have to make payment in those of particularly where you are registering, going for registration of your marriage, so that you have to pay. So on the day of solemnization 3 witnesses are required plus basic identification documents are required for the marriage certificate, which include the proof of age ki like ladka should be 21 and the girl should be 18 minimum. So in that case only marriage can be registered. Legal age हुआ है marriage का for girls and the boys respectively. And the address of both the parties. अगर जिसका मतलब permanent address नहीं उसको rent document देना पड़ता है, rent agreement or whatever. Then affidavit confirming that these are well married as well as marital status. Yeah, as I told you कि affidavit that ये दोनों का first marriage ही है. Then all the mental conditions, they don't have any like non-relation, there is no relationship between the parties, that is like just to state कि like दोनों parties है उनमें कोई मतलब ऐसे डिग्री नहीं जैसे होता है ना, linear descendants नहीं है एक दूसरे के, or they are not like cousins of each other etc वो सब. So for the those purposes वो सब affidavit में लिख के देना पड़ता है, and they don't come under the degree of prohibition of marriage. So that I think वो मतलब स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट और हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में सेक्शन 3 में आता है, एंड स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में सेक्शन 4 में आता है. दिस डिग्री ऑफ प्रोहिबिशन, ये कौन लोग शादी नहीं कर सकते, लाइक इफ दे आर लाइक कजिन्स ऑफ ईच अदर, या कोई डिस्टेंट रिलेटिव्स है जिनका मतलब कुछ लीनिएज किसी तरह से it gets attached वगैरह, then they such people cannot marry in certain consanguinity, जो भी बोल सकते हैं. Then passport size photographs भी लगते हैं parties के obviously, and the witnesses उनके भी मतलब वही documents लगते हैं. And thereafter the marriage is finally solemnized. Solemnization, as I told, कोई there are no rituals as such, पर ठीक है आजकल कुछ लोग थोड़ा वो पार्टी जैसा कर लेते हैं. So after the couple, that couple may apply for the marriage registration, and उसके बाद ऑफिशियली मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाता है पार्टी, मे बी आफ्टर फ्यू डेज या सेम डे भी मिल सकता है डिपेंडिंग. Then, as I said, there are no religious ceremonies prerequisite of such marriage under the special marriage. And the marriage becomes complete once you get the marriage registration certificate, the moment you put your signatures, etc. Thereafter, जो भी formalities है वो सब करने के बाद. See, essential for conditions for marriage to be registered, as I told, हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में यही चीज ऑलमोस्ट सेक्शन 3 में आती है शायद, एंड स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में सेक्शन 4 में आती है. So see, neither of the parties should have their first spouse living at the time of marriage, because obviously legal marriage तभी एक like one person can only perform with one person, अगर legally उसको recognition चाहिए तो at a time. So then both the parties are capable of giving a valid consent. मतलब कोई उनमें से लाइक मेंटली मतलब इनकेपेबल नहीं होना चाहिए, neither of them should be suffering from any mental disorder. Then neither of them should be subjected to recurrent attacks of epilepsy or insanity. Then the bride should be 18 years old and the groom should be 21 years old as at the time of marriage. Then the parties are like should not be within the degrees of prohibited relationships unless the custom or tradition governing them permits a wedding between the two. So like अगर custom या tradition prevailing, see in India there are also like certain other tribes etc जिनके अपने ही customs होते हैं. So like to them it is maybe थोड़ा मतलब freedom ज्यादा दिया है. So under the customary rights अगर वो आता है तो ठीक है. But even in that case more or less it is on the large scale or no, अगर registration करना है तो marriage का. But again as I said it depends. So parties should not be within the prohibited degrees of prohibited relationship. Then the parties are not a linear dominant of the other, that is sapindas in like ये cousins के context में basically, unless the custom or tradition prevailing in their particular respective जो भी family या tribe group etc होगा उसमें, for such marriage to like be acceptable between the two. Yeah, documents required for the marriage registration ये same ही है जो हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में है more or less. So proof of marriage वही है, voter ID, ration card, passport, driving license of the girl and the boy. Then any one of the witnesses, आधार कार्ड भी लगता है इसमें, आधार कार्ड भी इंक्लूडेड है. देन प्रूफ ऑफ डेट लाइक दैट इज टू रिकॉग्नाइज टू लाइक एसर्टेन कि वो लोग 18 और 21 है रिस्पेक्टिवली, तो उसमें बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट और स्कूल लिविंग सर्टिफिकेट. देन टू पासपोर्ट साइज फोटोग्राफ्स, देन सेपरेट मैरिज एफिडेविट्स एज इन द प्रेस्क्राइब फॉर्मेट ऑफ द हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ ऑन द स्टैम्प पेपर ऑफ ₹100, और भी नोटरी के सामने यू हैव टू लाइक गेट इट notarized before the notice. Then Aadhaar card लगता है and all the documents must be self-attested, that is true copy लिख दो sign करो. Then witnesses, a person can be witness to your marriage if he or she has attended the marriage and have a valid PAN card and proof of residence. And after giving a signed application from both the parties to the marriage registration office, marriage officer will give a public notice allowing the period of 30 days. ये मत just मैं short में explain कर रही हूँ. For the period of 30 days for filing objection and hearing any objections within that period. And if the officer is satisfied, then conditions are met and he will enter the certificate of marriage. And such a certificate will be signed by both the parties who are intended to get married by the and also the witness. So I believe this is the end of the marriage to be performed under Special Marriage Act and Hindu Marriage Act. I'll give a short summary, like even there for other religions in India. For Catholics, there is an act of 1872. I'm not able to remember the year. But there is also marriage act for Catholic marriages to be registered. But unka process hota, it is completely a different one. For that, first you have to maybe solemnize the marriage in the church before the priest. वो लोग उसका कुछ certificate देते हैं, then that you have to take to the marriage office. So that is there. And even for Parsi, there is Marriage and Divorce Act of 1932, I guess. उसमें भी like process almost similar, जैसे Catholic marriage act. Even for Muslim marriages, there is a law, but like more or less कोडिफाइड नहीं है वो लोग. सो या एंड अभी यूसीसी लोग बता रहे हैं लाइक दे आर प्रोपोजिंग, बट देखते अभी वो पास होगा या नहीं होगा, लाइक दैट इज अप टू द authorities. So yeah,
Okay.
that is it.
So Vaidehi, in our registration form, we had got a question that if there is a child born out of a wedlock practicing Hindu religion, can that person be can that marriage be solemnized under the Hindu Marriage Act?
I didn't get the question. If there is a child born out of
I
wedlock,
think does the Hindu Marriage Act also apply to illegitimate children?
how does it matter?
Okay.
It depends upon the faith you are practicing.
Yeah, hi ma'am. Good afternoon. Ma'am, I have two questions on the practical side of the registration.
Yeah.
One is related to the place of registration and another one is related to the notice part. So for the place of registration, is it mandatory to apply for the registration of marriage in the same district where the groom or the bride is living or residing, or can it be done in some other state as well?
See, you have to give your proof of residence. So basically, if you are like, अगर कोई और district में, if you are like, say, going for registration, they will ask for proof of residence and they will say, आप यहाँ रहते नहीं. So ultimately,
is there any provision that you have to live for 30 days in some other place to?
Yes, it is. But in that case, आपको rent agreement and all that stuff you have to show. इसलिए तो मैंने बीच में कहा था.
Yeah, that can be done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the second question is the notice part. Is this mandatory practice that notice will be sent to the homes of the parties?
Yeah, that is a procedure.
Okay, so ma'am, I was asking this in the context of marriages for which the parents are not very willing, like in case of love marriages. So if the notice is sent to the house of the bride and grooms, would be bride and grooms, they will be fall in the hand of the parents, and the marriage is already called off before it has already started and things. Is there anything to prevent that?
Many people have that issue, but that cannot be helped. Or notice is the procedure. It is basically to avoid, see, there are many issues like with women in the society. Kuch log, they change their names and they at times marry the girls, kuch bhi bahla fusla ke. So to check that, mostly a procedure rakha hai, but let's see, kuch issues में, मतलब कुछ couples के issue होते हैं with parents, if parents are not agreeable to their marriage. But it can't be helped, क्योंकि अभी वो law है तो है.
हाँ मैम, मैं ये पूछना चाहता था कि जो आप स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट बताया और हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट बताया, ठीक है, अगर रजिस्ट्रेशन करना है तो किस में करना है, और हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट का क्या रिलेशन है उसके साथ में, ये बताए ना मैम प्लीज.
हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट में सिर्फ दोनों पार्टीज हिंदू होने चाहिए, लाइक हस्बैंड और वाइफ दोनों को हिंदू होना पड़ता है, तो ही मैरिज हिंदू मैरिज में रजिस्टर हो सकता है. एंड अगर स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में आप दोनों हिंदूज हो तो भी चलेगा, मीन्स द वाइफ एंड द हस्बैंड. बट इवन इफ लाइक आइदर ऑफ द, मतलब एक कोई कैथलिक है, एक कोई मुस्लिम है, या एक कोई मुस्लिम है, एक कोई हिंदू है, इवन सच मैरिजेस कैन गेट रजिस्टर्ड अंडर द स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट, इंक्लूडिंग फॉरेन मैरिजेस, आई थिंक. या अगर एक पार्टनर से नॉन इंडियन तो भी उसके साथ में मैरिज स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में रजिस्टर हो सकता है.
ओके. एंड मैम, आई हैव अनदर क्वेश्चन. After the UCC, so all the provision like that in Muslim laws, like that Sharias and others, so those are provisional cancelled.
See, basically अभी तक UCC का ड्राफ्ट नहीं आया है, तो I will not be able to comment over that. But primarily UCC will cover as per, like this is what I assume. I'm not sure क्योंकि ड्राफ्ट नहीं आया है. Firstly marriage उससे cover होगा, marriage, then devolution of properties, then third is adoption, and maybe fourth बाकी जो भी women के लिए laws होते हैं जैसे maintenance etc, domestic violence ये सब हो गया. But primarily marriage और डिवोर्स, ऑफ कोर्स डिवोर्स एक आएगा, मैरिज, डिवोर्स एंड डिवोल्यूशन ऑफ प्रॉपर्टीज एंड एडॉप्शन, ये 4 एस्पेक्ट्स में. या सो लेट्स सी, ये बात ही कुछ बोल सकते हैं उस बारे में.
Okay, thank you ma'am.
So as you mentioned that the people who are not sane or have frequent attacks and who are not basically mentally or medically fit, how do the registration work if one person wants to get married to another healthy person?
One healthy, I didn't get the question.
So there is one spouse who is not mentally or medically fit. Let's say that person gets frequent attacks of depression, and the other spouse is completely healthy and a normal human being. How do they get married and register their marriage?
See, their marriage will not be recognized legally because law is a law. As I say, अभी escape नहीं. If you want to like try experiment any other way, then legal तो नहीं होगा वो.
So, but Vaidehi, depression is also mentioned. Avni, depression, you're specifically mentioning
No,
depression,
no,
right?
no. I just
Okay.
meant
Any
to give
other
like an
form of
example.
mental illness?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So,
Yes,
in cases of
that's what I'm
violence,
saying.
also you can't file as like my husband tortured me or something like that.
Can you just repeat the thing, what you said?
So I was reading a case law wherein it mentioned that if a non-mentally fit husband, so basically you're saying that marriage is not legal only. So what are the cases and chances of domestic violence and they are living together? So how do we go about that?
See, if you want to, if your marriage is not registered, basically, then see, one
It
more
will
thing
not.
I want to say in my presentation, I didn't say that.
Hmm.
Even if marriage is not registered, if
Hmm.
you want to get divorced in the court of law,
Hmm.
normally, see, I had a case 2 years ago जिनमें उनका marriage registered नहीं था.
Hmm.
So basically, I had to ask like the judge like what can be done in such case. So
Hmm.
judge ने कहा एक काम करो, both the parties means the parties were agreeable to divorce each other by mutual consent.
Hmm.
पर उनका marriage registered नहीं था. And it
Hmm.
was like 20 years ago they had performed marriage.
Hmm.
तो उनका marriage, the judge said कि like आप एक काम करो, both the parties give the affidavits on the stamp paper और वो मतलब notary से notarize करा
Hmm.
देना and submit it to them.
Okay,
So
so
that
it depends on individual cases then.
yeah, so in that case you will have to file application before the court and see like what can be done. अगर marriage registered नहीं है.
Okay, thank you.
How marriage will be performed when parties are from different countries?
Yeah, in that case, under Special Marriage Act, you have to file application. Like, say, one party has to be Indian, but as an Indian citizen, hona zaruri hai, even if like they are not residing in India.
Okay. The second question is, if man is Hindu and bride is Catholic, then for registration of marriage, which act applies?
Special Marriage Act.
Okay. And the next question is, place of residence is required or venue of marriage for jurisdiction of sub-registrar?
See, as I said, either of the parties, either the wife or the husband has to reside in that district for over 30 days. So वो उनका permanent residence है जहाँ वो उनके parents के साथ actually घर लेके रह रहे हैं, या they are staying on the rent. तो जो भी है as per to that effect documents they have to submit to the marriage registration authority.
One more question is, notice of marriage is sent to the party's home or the notice is put on the notice board of registrar?
Both.
There's one more. Under which condition even of spouse of same religion can solemnize their marriage under SMA?
There is no condition as such choice है.
The next question is there any provisions that court marriage happen on the same date of registration?
As such court marriage कुछ अलग नहीं होता है registration से. It is a registration marriage only, जिसको लोग court marriage बोलते हैं. So जिस दिन registration as in the day you are filing application, उसके बाद under Special Marriage Act of course you are asking. जिस दिन आप application file करते हो under the Special Marriage Act, उसके बाद 30 days time period is like, so time period exam.
Okay. So Vaidehi, thank you so much. It was a great session. See you again on our platform. Thanks again.
Sure.